Why, hello everyone. Welcome to the new behind the scenes stream layout for my stream. Yeah. Been making a lot of changes for a lot of things as of late, and this is a time where I like to sit down and have a chat with you, the viewers, and sometimes the players, of the things that happened during the last game. This is a way to kind of do an autopsy and a recap all at once. I like to talk about some of the things that I noticed that the players did, some of the things that they did that I thought they did well, some of the things that maybe have changed some way the game's going to go a little bit, and then I like to do a little bit of spoiler-free preparation stuff that I've either had to do or will be having to do based on the actions that the players have taken. Because I am the kind of DM that believes that Dungeons and Dragons is a tale that is being woven by the player's actions, and the DM's job is to narrate. So, without any further ado, if you like the new layout, definitely let me know. This is what you guys are going to see rolled out tonight, I believe, for the game. So, let's dive on in. I need to change something really fast over here because I forgot that I need to do that. We are going to be doing the autopsy right out of the gate. So, last week we had a couple week break just because life is life and things happen. And we finally got back into playing, and it was a little bit rough for a few of us. We were tired. I was tired. I wasn't as prepared as I would like to be, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But it happened. So we picked up where we left off. The Session 4 game ended on the note of Rogelio being brought back by Lathander, the god of Circes, the god, the deity that Circes follows. Not because of a spell, because Circes doesn't have the spell, nor did he have the components at the time, but because of the plea. This is one of those ways where a DM has the ability to script narrative. And I talked about that in my last autopsy for Session 4, so if you want to see more about that, it's only my autopsies are 30 to 40 minutes long. They're also posted on YouTube. Look up Defenders of the Skull, and that's the YouTube channel that I use. So you can feel free to watch that one there. I don't want to spend too much time on that event, but I want to talk about what happened after. I realized that I didn't capitalize on an opportunity based on the player's actions. And when Shannon had her character leap out of the window and chase off after Ned, I forgot about the whole poacher aspect of why they were there. And I immediately after ending the stream, I saw an opportunity and I missed it, and I realized I missed it, so I decided to retcon something, and I gave them the opportunity to capture a very heavily bear-trapped Ned who had a bear trap on his leg and a bear trap on his arm. And they were able to take him back to Varus Nightbreeze at Seabreeze Tavern, who is their patron for the area, the reason that they are in Saltmarsh to begin with and trying to figure things out, and allow for some interrogation that's going to take place. They interrogated what they could. Their rolls were good, but they weren't good enough. And I had always envisioned that Varus would have some backstory, some part of his backstory that would allow him to have basically a questioning cage, right? So that's exactly what it's turning into. So there's going to be an opportunity for more questioning to help impart knowledge onto the players to get them a better understanding of why they are here and what was going on at the house. And it will fill in maybe some gaps that I think exist in the narrative of the story in general. We will see if and when we get back to that. I don't think we'll get back to that tonight. We might. But, so they were able to get Varus back. They had a fun adventure of trying to carry a nearly unconscious, nearly dead, handless, bleeding, maimed Ned through town. And they wound up going with a barrel, which was amazing. And there was a lot of really good interplay between the characters. I really liked the conversations that the characters had with each other and they had in general. And I really am always impressed with the drive that these players have for their characters to actually be who they are. Like, there's a lot of self-discovery, and I think that's really awesome. And it's coming out every single session. And then the players were then sent up to go back to the house and see if they can disrupt the cargo transactions. They have enough information. Let's see if they use it. And on the way back up, I decided when I read through what was coming up next that I wanted them to have a little bit more fun, and I wanted to also have a little bit more fun as a DM. So I threw an encounter at them that kind of helps tie some of the story together, and they wound up dealing with some lizard folk. I don't think that they were mentally prepared for a fight. I mean, most players always are, but at this point in the evening, we had gone on without any combat for the entire session. There was some shopping. There's some things that had happened. It was more of a maintenance episode, which are good and have their place. But I feel that it was one of those things that I needed to spring something on them, and they dealt with it really well. And before I go any further, I want to go ahead and play some music that I had commissioned specifically for Ghosts of Saltmarsh, because it is fantastic. If you are on the Twitter universe, look up Castle Mac Andrew. I will be getting a link to him. That is something you guys will be able to pull from. It's awesome. I commissioned this specifically for not behind the screen, for Ghosts of Saltmarsh. It has a really cute vibe to it. It's loopable. It's nice. I like it. But anyway, all that being said, let me turn it down just a little bit. So, what did I think the players could have done better? Not much. After having 2 weeks off of not playing, and then jumping right back into the game right after a player had resurrected from the dead, is a tall order for anybody to deal with. That was a cliffhanger that should have been left for something that would have only transpired over a week. But we knew we had a couple weeks coming up. But we did what we could, and they handled it really well. They handled the getting back into the game, getting back into characters. I know that a couple of people, including myself included, had not played any D&D in 2 weeks. I played a little, but I know a lot of people hadn't played in 2 weeks because they were on vacation, and this was like their jump back in. So it was impressive to me to see the players pick right back up and dust off their character sheets and dive back in. I think that all in all, the entire situation was meant to be a learning situation, and I think that they're weaving it into the story. I mean, these are not new players, right? That's the thing that I love about this group. One of the many things that I love about this group is they're not new players. They know that Rogelio was probably dead. Like, this was it, that there was no way at a level 2 that you're going to be able to resurrect somebody if you can't get to them in time. With a critical fail on a death save after another fail, there's no way that Rogelio is able to come back. But, again, it's meant to be you guys are doing a really good job. Don't forget that you're only level 2. You're not level 7, not level 12, not level 15 characters, because they've been brazen, and it's been awesome, and it has made perfect sense. But there's a few situations coming up later that they might not want to jump right on in. So we'll see. This wasn't a punishment. This was just something I wanted to. I capitalized on the situation, and I wanted to see what happened with it. The interrogation was really good. They were asking a lot of the right questions, but again, some of the roles were just not for them last week, and that happens. And I think there's room and space for a DM to create ways to make things better, and I do that. I take liberty, and I'm okay with that. It's my game. I'm the narrator. It's their story, my game. So, and the handling of the barrel situation was hilarious. It was fantastic. I loved it. If there's anything I think that they could have done better, I would say maybe a little bit more planning. I was rushing in the DM, so this is more on me than it is on the players. But a little bit more planning about what to do when they went to that general store to pick up fishing gear. There was a few things that they could have done that they didn't. A few hints have been dropped, but they were not picked up. So we'll see what happens going forward. That's the only thing I think that they could have done better. They handled the combat extremely well. They handled the transportation of the suspect very well. They they did drop off the information, which will have an impact on the game. That's why I was pushing so hard for them to do that, and I'm glad that they did, because it will have an impact on the game going forward. And I think last week went really well, and I'm looking forward to tonight. I've been able to get a little bit of rest, so there's that. And before I dive into too much with the what I'm going to have to do in preparation, I want to explain why I've been so tired, and why things are a little bit off. So my daughter was supposed to have a very serious surgery on her face, on her skull actually, next week. It's supposed to be on Wednesday, and I've been pushing myself extremely hard for the last 6 to 8 weeks to be prepared to take 3 to 4 weeks off of work. So I've been doing a lot at work, been doing a lot at home, just trying to get it to where my life could stop, because my world was on an operating table. And we found out last week that the surgery is being delayed because of some new information that we need to kind of work through. So that was a big emotional punch to the gut, and it kind of wrecked me and my house, and it still is wrecking us a little bit, because all the stuff that we have been doing needed to stop, and there's stuff that we have done that needs to be done again to prepare for whenever the surgery does happen, which could be 3 weeks, could be 3 months. I have a very sneaking sensation that it's going to disrupt my family's plan for a fun vacation to the Pennsylvania Renaissance Festival. Looking forward to spending 5.5 hours in the car with the kids. Anyway, but that all being said, also, like I stated, a couple people had just taken vacation. Some people have been dealing with some life issues, and they were just getting back into the swing of things. So I think collectively as a whole, the fact that it was a very combat light, very narrative heavy, served two purposes. It gave us a chance to kind of get back into playing and get used to things again, as well as to just slowly, recover. Now we will be off next week, which was always the plan, and because of my daughter's surgery being moved, that's not going to change things, because things have changed for other people around this. So we will be off next week, and I'm looking forward to playing tonight and then taking a week break from the game. So the autopsy, everything was awesome. The players are always great. They could have thought a little bit more about what to do when they went up to the general store. Wish that their rules were better for the interrogation, but I've engineered a way to help them with that, and they handled it very well, very, very well. I'm super stoked to see what we're going to be doing this week. So the autopsy is over. We are rolling right along. We are 17 minutes into my broadcast, so let's go ahead and hide the word autopsy, because that looks horrible, and then go ahead and talk about planning and prep. So this is the second half of the conversation. Again, this is spoiler free for the most part. I never mind if my players watch these videos, because I don't believe they're going to metagame if I do slip. But it's also an opportunity for you who are here to hear what it's like to be a DM, because that's the whole premise of this 30-ish minute broadcast. It's letting you know that on this side of the DM screen, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. And I know that the idea of being a dungeon master is daunting to many, and I understand that, because as a dungeon master, I'm often called upon to be a DM. I've only been called upon a few times to be a player, but all the time to be a DM. And by exposing some of what I have to go through as a dungeon master for this particular game, it might enlighten you, the viewer, or a player, or somebody who is thinking about getting into D&D or has questions, what life is like for the DM, to kind of make a better decision. I think anybody could be a DM. It's just a matter of how do you want to DM. So now where things get interesting is that since this is an online game and we're using Roll20 and we're using Discord, normally my prep is pretty light. Normally, because I bought the module for Roll20 because it was awesome and all the maps were already pre-made. I just had to create some tokens for the characters and check some things. We worked through that. I think we're good there. But that side of the house which is usually the most resource and time intensive, is not the thing that is bugging me. But because my life has been life, I need to go back and reread the rest of the chapter and about 5 or 6 other parts of the rest of the book that I know tie into what is about to happen, just to refresh my memory, because last week was last week, because of the gut punch from my daughter's doctors, from just kind of moving through life and realizing that there isn't an end in sight. We know it's there, we just can't see it yet for this particular event. And this is my daughter's 9th surgery, so this is not the first time we've been at this rodeo, but every surgery is critical. And I'll talk about all that somewhere else, not here. That's not what this is for. So what I have been doing is things like this layout. I saw a couple of tweets that gave me a lot of inspiration when I was just apathetic with life. And I decided, hey, why not change the entire stream layout in 2 days? So that's what I've been working on. I also need to go back, like I said, I need to go back and read some stuff. There's not a lot that the players have done that will ultimately change the end game of this game or of this story. But some of the things that they have done is that they have interceded potentially on an execution. So Jameson is the poacher that they interrogated so awesomely back in Session 2, or maybe it was Session 1. Session 1? Session 1. And they dropped off the information that is potentially his poaching traps that were able to bring somebody to justice. Depends on what happens with Ned. I mean, if Ned is liquefied and there's no evidence of him ever existing, then it just becomes hearsay. But if Ned is brought to atone for his things that he may or may not confess, or the parts in the plot that he has had, then it may be used to benefit Jameson, and that's up to the players to decide. If they can push it really hard, and they can make it to where things aren't so great for Ned, or not Ned, but Jameson. But that's for them. This is their story. I might steer them a little bit just to remind them that that's the case, but ultimately the decision is theirs, because regardless of how long the breaks are, one of the benefits and the detriments of having things like YouTube and Twitch is that as a DM, I believe that the players should be taking notes, and they have access to watch videos on demand on Twitch as well as on YouTube over at Defenders of the Skull. So information that they may forget if this were a tabletop campaign being played at my house, and we get together once a week or every other week, doesn't need to be reconveyed as much, in my opinion. I like making sure that it's not my sole responsibility to make sure the players remember everything. I think that the players need to remember things. That's the benefit, is that for me, I don't have to do a lot of constant reminders. And the detriment for the players is that if they forget something and they can't find it and they don't know how to ask or where to look, then that is information that gets lost forever. So I am looking forward to the game this evening. We should be going live right around 8 p.m. We are getting ready to start to uncover more of what is truly going on in Saltmarsh. We've been trying to build the tale to discuss why the players are there, and that narrative seems to have gone awry. But I will be doing my best to hone that back in a little bit, or rein that back in. But tonight's session is about uncovering something that is going on in Saltmarsh, and it will help explain why the players are there. But what they need to do going forward will be unclear. So the planning and prep for this week is amazing, because I know that we are on the precipice of some really amazing discovery, but we're not there yet, so I have to wait in the sidelines in anticipation. and feel the skin crawl a little bit and feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand up as they start to do certain things, because it may have a way to unveil something, but I know that it probably won't be unveiled just yet. But I know the players have asked about the house, so I've got a plan for that. And they've asked that if they can secure the boat, if they can get it, because they know that they're looking for a boat, but they don't know what boat. And so I'm working through what that means as well. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. My streams, like I said, this is usually right around 30 minutes, sometimes less. This is, I've been live for 25 minutes, which means we're at like 20 minutes. This is just an opportunity for me to discuss with you how things are, and for you to ask me questions. So if you are watching this on video on demand, we do play Ghost of Saltmarsh most Saturdays from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. Eastern. I also do a lot of Sea of Thieves Monday through Friday. I also am looking at doing some variety streaming on Sundays with my kids, things like Minecraft and things like that. But if you're in chat and you have any questions, now's a great time to ask, because if not, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to talk about, which way is it? This way? Yeah. I want to talk about these giveaways. So these reset every single month. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But the bottom one for the book for Ghost of Saltmarsh is I have a free copy of the book to mail to anybody in the world. If we reach 5,000 bits in 1 month during the game, I'm going to mail it. I'm going to open a giveaway for it, and anybody can win it. And the Bit Boss is just a way to track what's going on. But I have also tons of dice to give away, and little dice bags. It's completely random. The dice are complete sets, and the dice bags are just little black velvet dice bags. But for every 2,000 bits, I'm giving away dice. That's U.S. only, because there's a lot of places that, thanks to the current state of affairs, it costs more for me to send a set of dice, for example, to like Canada, than it does to buy the dice by a very large margin, like tenfold, folks. Unfortunately, that the dice will be U.S. only for some time, until I work some things out. And I've got some ideas, and I might be able to expand that a little bit to the rest of North America at least. But we will see. So, since there are no questions and my time is wrapping up, I'm at 27 minutes of broadcast, which means 25 minutes of conversation. I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm going to look for somebody to rate really quick, probably somebody who is playing D&D or Sea of Thieves, because that is where I live, and I'm okay with that, so that's how it is. But thank you so much for stopping by this evening, or this afternoon. It's usually evening when I do this. Thank you so much for stopping by this afternoon. I do appreciate it. It's been exciting getting ready for this week, and I'm looking forward to what the players are going to be able to do. Tell you what, I believe he is doing Arena. I don't see anybody else playing D&D that I usually follow, and I haven't been able to raid him before. So let's go raid Beard again, because why not? Wait, did he just drop offline? There's no way he's done. There's no way. Anyway, I'm going to put the screen up. We're going to go ahead and set up a raid. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. I will see you all again soon.